Well, thank you. Good evening. Bonsoir tout le monde. You know, 2 years ago when I was here, and those of you who were here remembered, that Mark and I had the same color binder. Mark, we have it again. They're both white. So Mark, last time it was green. And Mark goes off and he takes my binder and I open up and my staff says, just turn to tab B and there's your remarks. I realized they were Mark's binder. So I winged it. So Mark, if you're okay, they didn't bring my binder up and I don't really want to read yours, so. Friends, it is very personal for me to be here with two of my incredible caucus and cabinet colleagues. Doug Downey and I are really a dynamic duo because we've gone to 4 FPT meetings together and we've carried the message to the federal government that if you look at what we've done in Ontario to change the relationship with our associations and our police services, prioritize the well-being of their members, get along great with the chiefs, and most importantly, be consistent in our message of public safety, then this is a winning formula. I think ironically, the federal Liberals actually copied a lot of our playbook, but you know what, it's about time that they also prioritize our public safety. And we're grateful that they've adopted a lot of our initiatives that we have worked very hard on. And Minister Paul Calandra, well, Minister Calandra was one of the first people in the early summer of 2022 when I was as new as could be. And I went to see you, Paul, in your office, and we got to know one another, and you absolutely put me under your wing and taught me so much. But you also said you should work as hard as you can to learn your files, and then those files will be a part of you. And I want to accredit Minister Calandra for doing something that needed to be done, and that is bringing back our police to our schools so that our kids can be safe. I want to thank you. Thank you. And we're not here alone just by PAO. We've got representatives from the OPPA. David, you're doing an amazing job as president. I enjoy our early morning calls. And also Chief Paul Pedersen from the Greater Sudbury Police Service and your role as Executive Director of the OACP. And it's great to have our Super Chief from Strathroy Caradoc, Mark Campbell, who has, Mark, your year as President has just flown right by. But friends, there's a group of people who are here that mean more to me than words could ever express. And that's the ladies and families from Seoul. For me, as Solicitor General, there's dates that are engraved in my memory that are not transient, and they're not dependent of me being a member of the Ontario Legislature. I remember the dates, I remember the names: Andrew Hong, Devin Northrup, Morgan Russell. I remember Eric Mueller, and most recently, Brandon Malcolm, and of course, Stephen Durango and Greg Pershella. The Soul Sisters remind all of us that there is a beacon in our heart that we must never turn off that light and never forget about them and their families. And each time we're together, we absolutely just even can't get the words out. And I want to thank Nancy and Shelley and Brenda and everyone from Seoul. Thank you for being here. And Mark, thank you for never forgetting about them. Friends, 2 years ago, and I remember walking in with Mark, and you had your elections, and it was a busy few days right here. But I want to tell you about our relationship with Mark, because he is your man, your president, who advocates for the welfare of every single member of the PAO every day. I don't hide from the calls from Mark. In fact, we call each other very, very early. We know about each other's families, and we understand the commitment that drives us. Mark has been a phenomenal mentor to me. and he's encouraged me to come out and to meet the presidents and the directors from across the organization, from Ottawa and Cornwall all the way out to Thunder Bay. And by doing that, I understand how important it is that the job that you do as local presidents and local executives is to represent the concerns of your members. It's to make sure, as we know, no 2 days are the same. And in each of those days, a member will have a life experience, some good. They will make change in their communities, and sometimes there'll be tough days. But let me tell you the most exciting part of this job, of something that I am beyond passionate about. And in a few weeks, and I think it's June 19th, we will be together again in Elmer, Ontario. That will be my 15th time at a March Past ceremony. And by the way, Doug and Paul, I've only missed 2. One of them was because we were resworn in as cabinet ministers in March. And I said to the Premier, it's not a perfect day. You see, I have an unblemished record of 13. That would have been my next consecutive one. And the Premier said, sorry, you're not going to Elmer. You got to come with us because you got an important role. Friends, when I see the families and the graduates who are your newest members, it reminds me of everything good in this province. Let me tell you what I said this morning when I kicked off debate in second reading of our spring justice bill. I said never before, in spite of what people around the world say, that Canadians go to Europe as young people, and I did it when I was a teenager, and I remember my parents putting a small maple leaf on the back of my knapsack. And I said, Mom, why is it so small? Well, that's the maple leaf we have. When you think small, you are small. But when you think big, you are big. And when it comes to unleashing the pride and respect and love, and I've had the privilege, and thank you, Catherine Clark, to say that the ministers and I know the daughters of not one, but 2 prime ministers that really, truly understand what it means to be proud about our country. C'est notre terre, le vrai nord fort et libre. We are the true north. We are free. This is our land. What I said to the class at Elmer, Ontario, to your newest members are, wear and understand that the flash of your police service represents the past. It represents the present, but will also represent the identity of the future. What the PAO reminds us, what the OACP reminds us, what the OPPA reminds us, and what the TPA reminds us, is there is pride embedded every single day in the members that serve our province. Premier Ford has done an incredible job galvanizing this pride and standing up and reminding us that there's nothing in our province that we can't do. This province belongs to us, and we see it when we look at your members who wear the flash. Friends, we're not going to stop. We are going to keep going. And Minister Calandra, Minister Downey, and the Premier, and our entire government will stand with you every single day. It's a well-known story that on my first day on the job, the Premier said, Michael, if you only learn one thing in your first few days, learn this. We must always have their backs. But Mark, he didn't give me the context to what that meant. He didn't tell me what it entailed. And he said, you will learn. And Mark, almost 4 years to the day that I had the privilege, and you tapped me on the back 30 seconds after I was sworn, and I didn't know you from Adam. And who would believe the journey that we have taken together? I'm not going to stop. I'm going to work hard every single day to make sure that your concern is our concern. Le soutien de notre gouvernement à votre égard est absolu et sans relâche. and nous vous accompagnerons partout où vous irez. It means that the commitment of our government led by the Premier is not transient, it's absolute and constant. And most importantly, wherever you go, we will go with you. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. And miigwech.